As a dad, do you ever feel like you're losing the battle against screens? Are your kids glued to their tablets and your family dinners turn into a silent scroll sessions? If you're tired of the digital noise drowning out your family time, then this video is for you. We're going to take a deep dive into practical strategies for protecting your family from the digital overload and reclaiming genuine connection. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Disciple Life Coach. I'm Joe Njakwuobi, your Disciple Life Coach. And so let's get into today's video. So today we're going to talk about this idea of fatherhood in the digital age and how to protect our children from digital overload. So have you ever experienced this time when you're putting the kids to bed or you're trying to have a conversation with one of your children and their notification comes over their phone, or they get a message or somebody who's messaging them, and all of a sudden they're like, Dad, can we do this later? Or Dad, I'll get right back to you. I need to answer this. So if this has ever happened to you, then you understand the invasion of the digital age in your ability to try to have a conversation with your children, and not only have a conversation with your children, but to have that intimate emotional connection with them as their father. So the core problem really is that families today and fathers today are feeling the pressure of this digital age that is encroaching on us trying to raise our children according to how the Lord would have us raise them. And so this struggle just gets more and more and more, and we seem like we're losing a grip on how to raise our children in a way that we can have meaningful connection. So, but this video is not really about trying to bash or downplay tech, but it's really about being fathers, Christ-like fathers. How do we use tech? How do we put boundaries around how our children are engaging with tech? And how do we put boundaries so that not only can they continue to still use tech, but there are boundaries so that you can have the social interaction connection with your children, and you can teach them how to use tech in a way that uplifts and grows them relationally and spiritually. So one of the unseen impacts really is how this constant notification, this constant text messaging with friends and social media expectations and screen time really erode our ability to connect one-on-one with our children. And it takes away from us being the influence in their lives. And so one of the things that we have to be very careful of as we set these plans is to really understand what this digital encroachment into our families is doing. And so one of the things that we also have to be aware of is, how are we using digital media? If we are scrolling and always on our phones and always using digital media and not being a model by turning off social media or having some strict rules for ourselves about social media, we can't expect our kids to be able to manage that on their own. So as parents, we need to know that we are the models. We are the ones that are going to set up the specific plans by not just saying that this is what we want them to do, but to also model that for them. So I just want to give you some statistics that were given out by James Steyer, and he is the founder of Common Sense Media. And some of the statistics that he put out was, by age 2, 4 in 10 children have their own tablet. By age 4, more than half of them have their own tablet. By age 8, nearly 1 in 4 children have their own cell phone. And over 51% of children 8 years or younger have their own mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a cell phone. And parental supervision varies significantly by platform. So 62% of parents watch YouTube occasionally alongside their children, where only 17% co-view TikTok with their children. AI is making significant inroads in terms of how our children are interacting not only with the world, but schoolwork, because nearly 1/3 of parents report that their children are now using AI for school learning activities. And then lastly, children from lower income households are spending nearly twice as much time on screens compared to higher incomes. So almost 4 hours for low income children versus 2 hours for higher income children. So what do we do as fathers in the digital age? Well, the first thing that we need to do is we need to have practical conversations and open conversations, not only with our spouse, but our children in terms of screen time and device usage. We need to be able to establish no phone zones or no tech zones so that children know that there are specific times and places where there's not going to be any digital screen time or any digital interaction allowed. Now, those can be times like around the dinner table, around bedtime, around social interaction that we have as a family. And the one thing that we have to do in terms of running our families is we have to personally detox, right? We have to personally look at ourselves, look at how we're using social media. Are we using social media to disconnect from the family or to use it to run away for entertainment, realizing that the children are watching us. The children are seeing how much time we're on social media. They're seeing how we're using social media. And so realizing that we have to be very intentional in terms of how we're using social media in front of our kids. If we are expecting our kids to follow social media guidelines and social media boundaries, we have to be the first ones to be able to model it. The next thing we want to do is not to discourage our kids from social media, but what we want to do is we want to train them how to use it effectively. We want to have effective parental controls. We want to be able to have tools that we can monitor what it is they're watching. And we want to also direct them in content that's going to help them grow and to educate them and to expand their minds. We want to guide them away from really using social media all the time for escapism or entertainment. Not that those things are bad, but we want to be able to guide them in the way that they can use social media effectively to help them grow and connect in positive ways with the world around them. We want to be able to guide our children to use social media effectively to educate and enrich themselves. And so in that, to be able to also be engines of encouragement by doing the same things with their friends. If they can use social media to help encourage and enrich themselves, they will also begin to learn that they can do that with their friends, also helping their friends being able to use social media for good and uplifting things rather than just mindless screen scrolling. We also want to make sure that we are introducing to our kids brainstorming activities that don't include social media and non-digital fun things that you can do as a father, activities that you can put together for your family to do, for your kids to do, that'll create bonds, strengthen your bonds, and create lasting memories that don't have to be around social media. And lastly, what we want to do is have ongoing conversations with the family in terms of stressing the importance of having conversations around social media. What's working, what's not? What is it that you're watching? How can you adapt to make sure social media is giving you the content and is uplifting you in ways that would edify you as father, edify the Lord, and edify your children, knowing that you are there for their good to make sure that you are guiding them in the ways that they are growing and ways that they are maturing, which is your responsibility as a Christian father. And then building resilience in your children, equipping them with critical thinking skills to navigate the digital world in front of them so that they can navigate it safely and responsibly. And finally, reclaiming connection with your kids to make sure that you want them to know that you value most of all is a deep, lasting connection with your children. prioritizing presence in their lives and building a stronger, more connected family that is able to live and thrive in a digital age. So thank you for joining me for this podcast. Do me a favor, if you like it, like and subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.